Hi everyone, happy Wednesday. It's Lynn from DevineCentral, and I'm here with your Wednesday weekly tarot mailbag reading. All right, this is where I'm going to answer a question. We'll pull some cards on it and just see what comes down the pike. Let me switch cameras for you. I am going to be using the Victorian Steampunk Tarot today. I have never read with this deck. I've owned it for like 4 years and never read with it. I have a lot of decks like that. I'm going to do a deck thing here pretty soon. But in the meantime, I will set this aside, and I've already shuffled the cards. The question is, I have a family member who's asking for a loan. I've made terrible financial mistakes in the past, and I've made every effort to make better decisions going forward. I have the money to loan, but is it a good idea? What do the cards say? All right, so I'm going to do a 5-card carnival reading, okay? So we're going to start with the subject matter and what precipitated it, okay? And then, what's the high side of this, or what's the lighter side of this? What's the darker side of this? And then what's the potential outcome of the whole thing? And then I'm going to end with a... let's pull these down a little. We will end with the bottom of the deck to see what Spirit has to offer us, okay? Interesting. So I bought this deck because the 10 of Pentacles card was so weird. And this is it. And that was the first card that came up. This is akin to the 10 of Pentacles. And what it's saying, I mean, could you pick a better card for Spirit to validate that they're here and listening to the question? Because we have a card that's very much a family card and very much a money card or a financial card. And so we know that that's what the whole discussion's about. So what precipitated it? We have the Knight of Dragonflies or Cups. And of course, this represents somebody who could possibly be bringing us a proposal of some kind. And that's interesting because the proposal is, hey, why don't you loan me some money? So this is our subject. This is what we're talking about today. So what is the high side of this whole thing? Well, we have the 6 of Beetles. And so, in a typical Rider-Waite deck, we would have somebody handing money to somebody that doesn't have it. So somebody with it gives money to somebody who doesn't. So this card can very much stand for generosity. It could stand for sharing what we have with others. It's a very positive and a warm and caring thing. And it doesn't always have to be about money either. It can be about helping somebody by giving them our time or our expertise, or a helping hand or a place to live or a meal. So it could be all kinds of things. But in this particular case, we're looking at, hey, you know what? You have the money to give. You are the one that's there handing money or looking to hand money or be generous to somebody who is less inclined. And that's really commendable of you. It's interesting because moving ahead here, I'm looking at the fact that we have an Empress and an Emperor together right here touching. And, the note says a family member, and it doesn't say, it says a family member, not my parents or my folks. I just got to wonder if this isn't a sibling or an in-law of married to a sibling, somebody in probably the immediate or really close knit family that, why would they not go to the parents, for money? Why come to you? Probably because they know you've got it. Maybe, I don't know. So what is the, is this a possibility? Absolutely. I mean, it couldn't be any more clear that you have this money that you can loan this person, and what a kind, generous, wonderful thing for you to do. But if we look on the darker side of this, or let's call it just the other side of this, we have the Emperor. Emperor is a 4. 4s are about stability. But the Emperor is kind of a controller, So I worry that, okay, let's put it this way. The Emperor is pretty staunch. He wants to control everything. He wants to rule his kingdom. He wants to take care of other people, but he's going to do it in his way, right? And so his way isn't always Well, his way is the best way. Just ask him, he'll tell you. But in other people's eyes, maybe what he wants and what the other person wants isn't going to be the same thing. And I'm thinking ahead. I'm thinking about the legalities of the situation. I'm thinking about, with the Emperor card, I just keep thinking, trust but verify. I would be asking questions. I would want to know what they want the money for. And if they tell you, oh, well, it's personal, then I would run, not walk, to the nearest exit. I would expect if somebody wants me to part with my money that they would tell me what it's for and how much they need and how long they need it for and how much can they pay me back. And then I would get it in writing. I don't care if it's family or not. I did that. I loaned a brother-in-law money and I made him sign a note, and he was wonderful, paid it back. And however, I'm typically neither a lender nor a borrower bee. But in this particular case, I think it would be important to consider taking a hard line on it. I know the Emperor would take a hard line on this, and he would make sure that whatever investment he made was going to come back to him. And so that's something that I would think about. Now, the final outcome, potential final outcome, if you were to loan the money, we have the Empress. And the Empress, she's associated with how things make us feel. And she is quite the nurturer. She's Mother Earth, right? She takes care of us all. And she very much wants for us to be happy, and she wants for us to have everything, and she wants everything to be abundant, and she wants us to love her as much as she loves us. And unfortunately, on the dark side of that, she has a tendency of giving too much to people, so much so that she doesn't save enough back for herself when she really needs it. You didn't mention who the family member was. You didn't mention if you have a good or a bad history with that person. You didn't mention if you have the money to loan, but can you afford to not get it back? Because you don't talk about that either. So I'm concerned. The Knight of Cups can be a real player. They tell us what we want to hear, and they're very charming and very very wonderful, but they're not built real strong on commitment. They have a commitment issue, and paying back a loan is a commitment. So, and I also see the Six of Beetles here as, it can be such a wonderful, generous card, but it can also be a sign of imbalance. There's an imbalance in the relationship. And so, and it could be something as minor as, or as simple as, a boss-employee, doctor-patient, teacher-student thing. But it can also be an imbalance in the relationship between two siblings. Is somebody coming to you instead of their parents because they know that you'll give in. They know that they can manipulate you. This is somebody who can be a manipulator. And is that why they're here? Is that what they're doing? And if will they honor any agreement that they make to pay back? So my suggestion to you is know why you are loaning this money. Why are you saying yes to it? Is it that you truly just don't care to get it back, or is there guilt? Is there some family dynamic going into this that you need to really take a serious consideration on before you make that decision? So, last word from Spirit. You ready? Let's see what we have here. We have the Nine of Moths. So this is fire. Okay, this would be akin to the Nine of Wands. And if you will remember the Nine of Wands, he's standing there with a wand in front of him and 8 wands behind him, and he is standing his ground. He's exhausted. It's the end of the day. It's the end of the situation. It's a 9, and he's battered and he's bruised and he's ready to give up. And to me, that's not a good sign from Spirit. I think it's saying you're going to be hard pressed and you're going to have to fight like hell to get your money back, is what I think this card is saying. Oftentimes if we, especially when it comes to somebody asking for a loan, sometimes if we postpone them let's say you seriously want to give them a loan, maybe postpone them a few weeks and see if they can't resolve this issue on their own. And if not, then come back to them and say, okay, let's work something out. But I have found that in just life experience, that spur of the moment, people always want the easy route. And it keeps them from having to do their own work. So you might want to consider making them do that work first. So that is my answer to that. I hope that you've enjoyed the reading. I would appreciate comments. I'd really appreciate it if you would like it so other people can see it. Also subscribe and keep checking back. I do monthly readings and I also do live Zoom readings. I'll put that information below. Have a great rest of the week and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.